yourself one shot at a time.
Welcome back to the Enjoy the Walk podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Got a pretty cool guest on here with us. She's worked with the LPGA in the past for over a decade. She now works for the Youth on Course Foundation, which if you've spent any time on social media over the last 8 to 10 months, you know what the 100-hole hike is, you know what Youth on Course is, and all the great advocates that really have kind of hopped on as Youth on Course is just continuing to grow momentum and provide really cool, I think, opportunities for kids across the country to hop in and join the game. Ashleigh McLaughlin, happy to have you on the show. Ashleigh, thanks for joining us and taking the time to talk about Youth on Course.
Thank you so much for having me. It is my pleasure to be here talking to you both, particularly about this subject. So I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah, I know, just spending time on whether it's Instagram or Twitter and just seeing the work that I think Youth on Course as a whole has done to build the word about the program. Can you talk to us a little bit, just a grand overarching idea? What is Youth on Course for those who might not know about it, and what do you really do on a day-to-day basis?
Absolutely. So Youth on Course is a nonprofit that was founded just over 15 years ago with the mission of helping to eliminate the cost barriers that keep so many young people away from playing the game of golf. It was founded by the Northern California Golf Association's foundation, and really born out of observation. There were a lot of kids at the time who were learning to play the game of golf through those national programs like the First Tee and Girls Golf, which do an amazing job of getting clubs in the hands of young people. But the challenge at that time, and which still remains in some effect today, is that those same kids who were learning to play the game of golf were not spending the amount of time actually on the golf course enjoying the game and applying all those great skills and lessons that they had learned in class or on the driving range to actually applying them on the course. And so that's really where Youth on Course was born, through the support of local, just people who love the game of golf and know the benefits that the game has for kids and wanted to see more kids out on the golf course actually enjoying it. They helped provide enough funding to provide subsidies essentially for kids to play for $5 or less. And so that program, which started out of Northern California, has now grown and expanded across the country. So we're in all 50 states now, and servicing over 130,000 kids, both in the US and Canada. So it's pretty exciting to see the growth. Beyond just round subsidies, we also host a caddy program. So kids who are interested in either learning the game or networking, practicing their communication skills, or just deepening their passion for the game through kind of on-course strategy, have a chance to get an orientation and then be placed with the golf course. And we subsidize their wages to help make them more money to save up for college. We also offer an internship program as well, just another kind of career builder for high school students, and a scholarship program. We award about $300,000 almost annually to high school seniors to pursue higher education. So we are all about opening doors of opportunity and providing kids to access to those lessons that happen on the golf course, those lessons that happen when you're interacting with new people for the first time, and those lessons that happen when you're exploring what you may want to do for work in the future, and going to college to pursue that. So that's what we do from a 30,000 foot view, and it's really awesome work.
See, that's exactly right there why I was so excited to bring you on, because you see $5 rounds for kids, and a lot of the conversation sometimes stops there because that's the tag mark, right? And you just went through such a deeper, and even still, I know it's the 30,000 foot view because there's so much more. There's relationships involved in that. There's building with kids and relationships there as well. But really neat to just kind of even get a little bit more insight to what you really do and what you offer, because I think on the grand scheme of things, the game of golf can and always does have a special place in people's hearts when they really dive into it more than just a session at the range or a session on the course and it's one and done. If you can really start to repeat almost a repeat buyer or a repeat returner to the game, it starts to develop more relationships just within the game of golf alone.
Yes, absolutely. Very well said.
Wow, that's really awesome. So you kind of kind of jumped out of the gate right out of college. It looks like it. Did you play a little bit? It seemed like you went right into the LPGA more on a business standpoint. Can you kind of just like kind of bring in that aspect? And it just seems it's awesome to see your resume. Bring up you went to college, you went to Florida State, and then you ended up. It looks like you played, and then right out of the gates, you decided to go into the business. So how was that? How was that experience as well? That kind of led up to also bringing you the youth on course.
Yeah, so funny enough, so I grew up playing golf. I learned to play golf starting at age 10 through a junior golf program here in Orlando. And I've grown up around the game, you know, pretty much all of my life, but didn't consider working in golf until I was a senior senior in college, and realized I needed to get a job. And so in thinking about what I wanted to do, I went to Florida State to study business. I played golf on the women's team there. Obviously, I love sports. I love the game of golf, but I had no idea what types of careers were available in our sport outside of playing professionally. And while I played in college, I'm nowhere close to being good enough to play on tour, nor do I have the passion for competitive golf. But I did give it a solid like 24 hours of thought my senior year. Like maybe I could do that.
Maybe not.
Yeah, but that was a swift no. I got back to reality pretty quickly. And it wasn't until a friend of mine told me about the PGA Tour's diversity internship program. They happened to be recruiting at FAMU, which is the HBCU right across the street from Florida State. Was not a student at FAMU, but I snuck into the career fair to get in front of the recruiter there, gave them my resume, and applied for an internship there. And then really it opened up my eyes to all of the opportunities within golf, whether that is marketing, which was my field, to finance, to tournament operations, to being a rules official, right? I had no idea how large or deep the career opportunities were in golf, but that certainly, gave me the first step of step into the industry, and also helped me realize, wow, this is a spot where I really want to be. I can marry my passion for sports, my passion for golf, my passion for marketing within one career. And I was placed in that internship with the First Tee, so I interned there for the summer. And oh my gosh, junior golf, that was also my passion. That's what got me into the game. And an opportunity while I was interning at the LPGA opened up. And that's where I got my real kind of full-time start, and the rest is kind of history, as they say. So, I spent 12 years, as you mentioned earlier, at the LPGA, doing everything outside of the tour. So I worked with our teaching and club professionals, who are the women who work really at the grassroots level in golf. So as coaches, as instructors, as head pros at golf facilities there. By far and large, some of the most passionate people I've ever encountered about the game of golf. Did tournaments, digital marketing for the LPGA Foundation and Girls Golf, and then that led me to the LPGA Women's Network, and then Youth on Course. So that's been kind of my path.
Well, and if you could
awesome.
If you could touch on one or maybe two aspects of, you took a lot of things that maybe were rebranded while you were there and kind of turned them on their head. Taking those experiences from the LPGA to Youth on Course, what are the similarities, and maybe even what are some of the differences that you've realized as you've been able to have your hands on multiple rebranding aspects in both areas?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I think that for me, I'm very much an intuitive, kind of empathy-driven person. And so thinking about things from the lens of whoever the end user, the end consumer, is what kind of comes naturally for me, and what feels kind of simple. And I think golf, our industry, has spent so much time really focused on one type of consumer that we've had all of these other great, I don't want to call them niches, because it's not a niche. These aren't, girls and women are not a niche consumer group, but we've spent a lot of time focused on one group that we've not gotten good at really connecting with other groups in the way that they want to be reached out to. And so the first sort of brand that I've had an opportunity to relaunch essentially was that of LPGA-USGA Girls Golf. And at the time, kind of the brand look was very tired. It was very, 90s. It was, the red, blue, and green kind of golf look. And, I was a little girl that grew up playing golf with mostly boys and, stuck around because I had close girlfriends, and we would just go and we would laugh and we would socialize and we would compete as well. But it was just a different vibe than what I think the type of experience the boys we grew up playing with enjoyed. And, when I start any work, I think when it comes to a brand, it always begins with whoever the end audience is. What is it that's going to attract them to this idea, this concept, this entity? And for girls, it's social, it's fun. Golf is already intimidating enough. Let's really commit ourselves to, amplifying the things that are going to catch an 8-year-old girl's eye. It's not going to be just the golf. It's going to be whatever we can do that's going to pull her away from, or capture her attention away from maybe cheerleading or all the other options that we have available. And so that's where kind of that fun, like swirly pink, purple, green look came from. It is, lighthearted, it's fun, it's also empowering with those darker colors. Like the palette itself is one that is both strong and playful. And we just kind of did that up in both the logo and then all of the kind of visual supporting assets as well. It's smiling faces, it's girls of all ages, it's girls of all backgrounds, having fun, enjoying golf, getting better, learning, enjoying one another as well. And that a very similar approach is what we used for, Invite Her and the LPGA Women's Network. It's always starting with the audience first, thinking about, what is going to attract, what's important to them, what are their values, what's going to attract them to this, what are the aspects of the game that they can relate to that's going to be interesting for them. And for women as well, it's social. It's, I want to use golf for, finding Zen, for connecting with people who are like-minded, for advancing myself in my career. And so it's just marrying all of those elements into a visual representation that people can connect with. And we've used that same approach with Youth on Course. It's innovative, it's modern, it's fun, it's youthful, it's empowering. You can see that in the mark and every bit of content that we post as well.
Well, you can tell how married the two are of your love for marketing and your love for golf. You can just tell the similarities or the nuances in the way you talk about how they connect so well. And I think that's really incredible to see. And it's obvious as to the impact you've been able to have in both settings. Moving to that Youth on Course and the way you talked about it being innovative, was the 100-hole hike something that was there before you got there, or was that something that you kind of brought to the table when you came onto the team at Youth on Course?
No, the 100-hole hike has been around, I think, for 7 or 8 years. And the concept actually wasn't started by Youth on Course. There's another gentleman who committed to playing and walking 100 holes of golf for a charity he was passionate about. One of my early colleagues at Youth on Course, Michael Lowe, who's, I think he actually hiked today. This is his 7th 100-hole hike, was, I think, the second person to accomplish this feat. And so he did the same thing, raised money for Youth on Course, and it's just kind of ballooned from there. More and more people have wanted to participate in this very unique fundraiser, very grueling fundraiser since then. This year we've raised over $1 million through the 100-hole hike, which is very exciting. And we plan to grow that this upcoming year as well. And for anybody who's listening who's not familiar with that initiative, the 100-hole hike, as it sounds, 100 holes of golf. You play it in one day. You walk. You play every single hole. So it's not like hit 3 tee shots and go. You're playing, and walking 100 holes of golf from sunrise to sunset in one day. And you're, reaching out to your friends and family and colleagues, your network, to pledge whether it's $1, 50 cents for every hole that you finish. And it's been a really awesome way to raise awareness around what we're doing, because if somebody hears you're playing 100 holes of golf, they want to know why, right? So it's but it's also and I can say this because I completed it last year. I was very proud of myself because I was worried I would not. I was like, please, rain, where's the rain? But I actually did it, and I felt like I could do, like, I don't know, an Ironman or something after that. I felt very accomplished. It's very much both a physically and mentally gratifying challenge to be able to say you've completed something like that.
I'd feel like I would need like a motorized push cart or something just to get through that. You're telling me this now. I mean, my calves are already pulsing at this what I would feel like the next morning. But I mean, obviously it's a great cause, and that's awesome. And obviously enjoy the walk. We prefer to walk 100% of our rounds.
Yeah.
That's just,
well, there's levels to it too. So you have like the Roger Steeles, who did a 31-mile hike on a full length golf course. And then you also have folks that play like a par 3 course. So it ends up being maybe 12 to 15 or something like that. So it's a little bit more manageable, but for sure, like Excedrin is going to be your BFF the following day, and lots of hydration and rest.
Yeah, you mentioned the Roger Steele, and I remember watching it on his live and with the guys out there at Fire Pit Collective, kind of behind the scenes, documenting it all. And there was multiple shoe changes throughout the day to stop the blisters from occurring. It's one of those things where it's obvious. You tell someone I'm playing 100 holes, and obvious the next question is, well, why? And that really starts the dialogue of bringing it back to Youth on Course. Before we started the kind of interview here, you had mentioned just the rocket ship it seems like Youth on Course has been on over the last couple months. Aside from 100-hole hike, what do you see, maybe just on a local level and not so much on a national level, of how kids are getting to interact more often than not with Youth on Course?
Yeah, I mean, I think the beauty of being able to play golf for a more affordable price for $5. I think back to, for me, when I was a kid, and I know so many of our members do this too, think about summers or after school, right? Being able to be dropped off at a golf course and be able to spend the day playing 9 or 18 holes because you know that you'll be able to afford it. It's something that you or your family can swing, or maybe you can babysit to earn some money to help cover your greens fees for the summer. That itself lends itself to helping you create so many deeper relationships with your friends, with people that you meet at the golf course for the first time. Relationships are such a core piece of the golf experience. You have, 2 to 4 hours of uninterrupted time, hopefully kind of unplugged from your phone as well, to just connect with somebody and to enjoy doing the same activity together, to enjoy nature. It's such a relaxing environment that kids today especially, I think, could benefit from now more than ever, with all of the distractions and challenges with media in particular. So we are definitely seeing, as you mentioned, this kind of rocket ship take off. 2020, of course, was a challenging year for a lot of people, for young people especially, and being quarantined and not being able to get out and do the normal social activities that kids enjoy was really hard for a lot of our members and families. And I think that deeper appreciation for connection with people, for nature, was a big factor in our surge in membership. We went from 70,000 members at the start of that year to 100,000 members. We grew by 30,000 young people, but that's also, that kind of trend has carried on through 2021. So we ended 2020 with 100,000 members. We just hit 130,000 members a few weeks ago. So kids are playing more golf, our members are playing more golf at least, and we're finding that more young people are seeing some benefits in being able to access the sport more affordably, and we're really proud to be able to deliver that to them.
That's awesome. I mean, it's something where I can only imagine, as a mother yourself, you look at the kids that have the opportunity that maybe would have never gotten it before. I know you're on a short schedule, but just maybe one last question onto the lasting impact of Youth on Course. If you had to kind of sum it up on a short sentence or two of what do you think these kids are really on the long term end of things getting out of the availability for youth on course?
Gosh, I think, so I'll give you, I'm going to dovetail at the end of your last question, because now I am a mom and I have a deeper appreciation for my parents, a deeper appreciation for golf, and a deeper understanding of the costs associated with golf, right? So I now have a 5-year-old who is starting to get into golf. I want him to learn to play golf because I know this is a game that's going to teach him how to persevere. It's going to teach him how to focus, how to have a goal in mind and work towards that. And those are things that are going to translate to any other thing that he does in life. And that's important to me as a mom. I want to instill some of those values however I can. And I know that golf is such a great tool to do that. But now that I'm the one coming out of pocket to pay for his clubs and his clothes, I recognize, oh my gosh, this is expensive. And, not everybody has the luxury of being able to pay for clubs and shirts, like those things. It really adds up. And it could be much easier sometimes for me to say, let's just get a pizza and watch a movie at home versus let's go outside and enjoy some time together. And so I know the long-term legacy of youth on course. And I know this because I've read stories from, and letters from other parents, emails from alumni of the program who know and understand that, even our current members and scholars. This is about really opening up opportunities for people to, like I said, deepen relationships. It is creating a more inclusive environment in our golf industry because, as you know, golf is still fairly pale, stale, and male, as they say. And when you want to make a space inclusive, particularly a sport, economics plays a major factor in that. And so we're helping to even the playing field in that way. And so, there's a lot, of course, that Youth on Course is doing beyond affordable golf, beyond the subsidies, as I mentioned, our internships, our caddy programs, those are all pillars of ways that we're creating opportunities. But it's the opportunities to what that is the legacy. It's all of the lessons, the values, the relationships, evening the playing field and allowing kids to play. That is creating a brighter future, I think, for our sport. So it's something that I know everybody at our team is really proud to be a part of. It's something that our members really appreciate. And I think, we're just going to continue to grow over the next couple of years. So I don't think this rocket ship has an end destination. I think we're just going to keep going up, fortunately. Yeah.
And I think,
long answer, but hopefully
we love that answer.
That's awesome. Yeah.
There's so much truth in that. I think Dante and I think everyone in the golf industry alone saw that boom in their own local, sectors of whether it was a local club they are at or a local public course. The tee sheets were full this year, and it was a good sign to see. I see a number that kind of shocks me, and I think this is really where the cool opportunity for growth is. In just my outside perspective, you have 1,700 golf courses that are participating in hosting Youth on Course. I did a quick Google search. There's over 15,000 golf courses in the United States.
Yes.
So, how can golf courses reach out to you? Can they get a hold of Youth on Course if they're interested in hosting? Because that seems like an astounding number. I'm like, come on,
yes.
Golf courses.
I know. Involved. Yeah. That's a great question. I'm really glad that you asked, because that is certainly a goal of ours now, that especially as we've expanded into new states. We want to make sure that kids have as many opportunities as possible to play. And the best way to do that is to partner with golf courses across the country who are interested in opening their doors up to YOC members so that we can collectively grow the game and provide more opportunities for kids to play. These are their future customer bases. You know what I mean? Like, having a home course that you feel connected to, you're going to return there, you're going to bring your friends. It's good for the long-term health of our sport, but also really good for business. And so any courses who are interested in partnering with Youth on Course, it's super simple. They can visit our website at youthoncourse.org. We have a page, literally just courses at the top. There's a link to more information. It walks you through how our subsidies work. So we reimburse courses for offering the opportunity for kids to play. So every round of golf that's played, they receive a subsidy to help their bottom line, and will help market and promote their facility throughout the year. So super simple. We have a wonderful programs team that walks courses through the process, and you can find all that information online.
That's awesome. It's something where, again, from the outside looking in, the success is just getting started. Something like this is, as golf fans that I've played for all my life. Dante, you really got into it after college. It's something that just, I think as a golf fan, we all can get behind. It's the feel good story in golf, is when the kids can go out and get to play.
Yes, I agree.
Awesome, Ashleigh. Well, again, I appreciate the time this evening. It's
Thank
awesome
you.
to get to hear about what you do in the industry and what you've been able to do. Nothing but the best from us for you going forward, and hopefully we can cross paths down the line.
Yes, thank you so much
Definitely.
for having me. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys.
Absolutely. And as always, guys, you can go to youthoncourse.org to find out more about what they do on a day-to-day basis, read more about Ashleigh's history, as well as all the other staff and members that add into the story that is Youth on Course every year. So, guys, as always, you can get out there, carry your clubs, and enjoy the walk.
That's the stuff. One shot at a time.